Hi everyone, welcome back to the Madden Legit Gamers YouTube page. This is a more in-depth video or follow-up, if you will, of how to scout and game plan for your opponent as we move into Madden 23. So without further ado, let's move into part 2, film study. Step 1, the process. In this video today, I'm going to teach you how to watch film like a quarterback. Because as we know in Madden, everyone is essentially the quarterback of their team. So I'll be using the flowchart on the right, and as you can see in the key at the top, the first half will be pre-snap, second post-snap, and then post-play. The first thing we want to identify is the situation we're in. Know the down and distance, time left, and yard line. Each of your play calls should be catered to the down and distance. And obviously if you're in a 2-minute situation, or end of game situation with a must score opportunity, you're going to have to manage the clock and make sure that most of the plays you call are putting your receivers in a situation where they can get out of bounds to stop the clock. The next thing we want to take a look at is personnel groupings. So from the offensive perspective, are they in base, nickel, or dime? And what is their shell? Is the middle of the field open or is the middle field closed? For this, you're going to recognize how many safeties are deep. If you have 2 safeties splitting the field deep, that means the middle of the field is open. If you have a single safety in middle of the field deep, that means the middle of the field is closed. And if there are no safeties deep and they were pushed up closer to the line of scrimmage, then you can expect a 0 blitz or at least a show blitz. The next thing we want to take a look at is what front is the defense in. Is the front 7 symmetrical with your offensive line? Or are they favoring one side with either a over or under front? This is important when we start taking a look at hat count on offense for the run game. But during film study, it could also mean that it gives you a tell in what coverage they may or may not be in. Do you recognize any pressure coming? Are there any linebackers or defensive backs up in the gaps in between your offensive linemen? Is the nickel or the slot cornerback lined up right outside your offensive tackle? Are the safeties up in the box, or are they still deep? You'll use this pre-snap data to get an idea of what defense your opponent may be in. You can use tools at your disposal like putting guys in motion to see what adjustments or if anyone runs or rotates to that motion guy. Now you're going to take all of that data that you read pre-snap and you're going to confirm it post-snap. As a quarterback, you want to keep your eyes downfield at all times so that you can identify if the coverage shell that you read pre-snap is the same post-snap, as sometimes defenses do show one coverage and then end up rotating to another one post-snap. So as you're watching film and the play begins, you want to go through this decision-making process just as you would if you were out there on the field. Meaning you have to understand your progressions for each concept against each coverage. After doing that, you want to evaluate yourself. Did you make the right pre-snap read? Do we know what we saw, and can we do it again? Were we able post-snap to recognize the defense? Using this process will help you not only get better at understanding the game, but it will increase your chances of success on the field and will up your overall consistency for any CFM that you may be in. Now let's take what we've learned to the film. So the first thing I want us to identify here is how many safeties are deep. A too high safety look here. We have the corners playing around 7 yards off, and we have the nickel corner playing tight to the line of scrimmage in the apex position. As you can see, the offense makes an adjustment, so then the defense changes the positioning of that apex nickelback. Another Madden thing that is important to read pre-snap is where the user defender is at. And in this case, he sees that the user defender is that nickelback. So what does that mean? That means that the angle route by the running back is going to be covered by a AI defender. Now on this next play, you'll recognize that the user quarterback recognizes that he has his tight end uncovered on the right side of the field, meaning that there is no defender over him pre-snap. And you'll see the defense quickly adjust by placing a linebacker out there. and then the user quarterback post-snap reads that linebacker takes the running back flat route, which then leaves the tight end on an out-leveraged safety to the sideline for this Y-cell concept. And for this next play, you'll see that the offense comes out in a trips look. You'll also notice that they are lined up on the right hash, which means the trips receivers are to the wide part of the field. This is important when trying to run a concept like a bubble screen. And as you can see on this play, the slot wide receiver was completely uncovered, which allowed him to outflank the defense horizontally and pick up some decent yards. Okay, so now we're going to move on to charting game film. And usually you would want to chart at least 4 games of an opponent, but I know that in Madden is very time consuming. So what I usually do is I'll skim through 2 games and I'll just pick out the same situations where I think that opponent is doing something repetitive, meaning that they have a rhyme or a reason and certain down and distances to be calling certain concepts and certain plays. So let's take a look at this Excel spreadsheet that I built for charting offenses, personnel, formation, play type, concept, and then the result of the play. I have this set up for 1st and 10, 2nd and short, 2nd and medium, 2nd and long, 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, 3rd and long. And then also situations such as red zone, goal line, 2-minute drill, hurry up offense. There is also a section in there for the most used tags / hot routes and their key targets. This spreadsheet is posted below in the description of this video, and you can use it if you like. So going through the spreadsheet here, as you can see, there are drop downs for personnel, play type, and concept. I've also included the personnel's packages image on there so that you can easily identify what personnel your opponent is in. So first things first, you'll notice that the offense has come out in 11 personnel, meaning they have 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers. So here you would just click on the personnel tab, drop down, put 11 personnel, and for the formation, you can get that in a few different places. So here you can see it in the audibles, but you could also see it in the previous play information and when they initially picked the play. Next thing you want to input is either play type, pass or run, and in this case, this is a pass play. Now for the concept, I know a lot of people do not have all of the concepts memorized, so I've created a drop down with the most used concepts in Madden. I've also left a concept guide in the description of this video so that you can easily identify what you're looking at. Sometimes Madden is good at telling you what concept it is, and then other times it's not the concept, it's just a name of a play. So for the sake of this video, I didn't want it to be too long, so I only scouted 2 games and only the opening 2 drives of the builds for those 2 games. And while doing that, I did see some concept overlap. Personnel was mostly 11 personnel. Mostly formation-wise, he was in 2x2 with a few trips formations thrown in. The other things I was able to identify just in the short clips were his favorite targets, tight end Knox in this case, and his running back Nick Chubb out of the backfield, as well as Rashad Bateman, his wide receiver. These are key components when you are game planning for your opponent because you want to take away their number 1 threat or their number 1 target. The Bills are a definite zone running team as they used read option, inside zone quite a bit during the opening 2 drives of both games. And as it is a tight end centric offense, the primary goal is getting Knox loose in the middle of the field, either by drags, digs, or just straight seam routes. As we get closer to Madden 23, I hope that you use this information to up your Madden game in your CFMs, because knowing what your opponent is doing is most of the battle. After that, it's just about executing your game plan to the best of your ability. If you have more questions about game planning or scouting, I placed the link to the first video, Game Planning for Your CFM, at the end of this video. Again, thanks for all the support, and please Make sure you like and subscribe, comment if you have any questions or if you enjoyed the video, and I will be putting out more content as we get closer to Madden 23 and beyond. Thank you.